Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Sketches at Lunch. I'm going to be working on some spawn kills every spawn. Going to be inking some of the pages from the book so we can get this done. This will be page 3. I don't know. The spread. This is from the first issue. You can where did I put my issues? So great. Oh, here we go. I got it. There, you can get that now at any comic book shop. You know, get it on eBay, get it where you gotta get it, right? But we'll see. It's bada boom. There we go. So we're gonna be inking these pages because I do everything backwards. I draw the book first and then I do my traditional pages. So we'll be doing this for about 90 minutes, about an hour-ish or so. So feel free to hang out. If you got any questions, if you're like, what brushes do you use, bud? Ask away. I will be here. I will be here working, because that's what I do. All right, let's put this over and get multi-liners. Where we leave off. I need to. And then we'll work right over here. Work right over here. This done. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing, like I said, I'm gonna be doing this as much as possible. When I got commissions, I'll stream commissions for an hour. Otherwise, I'll stream this stuff. We'll have regular streams, I think, moving forward, which will be nice. But you're gonna be seeing a lot of me doing this as well. Make sure to set my timer because I will forget. All right, start the timer. Timer started. Here we go. Ooh. I got a busy weekend ahead of me. On top of work, I'm gonna do a signing locally, which is gonna be super nice. The first local signing I've done. So super nice shop, the Collector's Outpost. Tim runs that shop. Tim's a dope guy. He's cool. So I'll be there from 12 to 5 in Meridian, Idaho. I doubt many of you will be there, but if you're there, hey, come say hi. I don't really do conventions and stuff, so it'll be like the only time I really get out. Just life. Which requires additional permissions. Click here to grant permissions. Authorize. Authorize. I'm all set. There we go. So weird. And then I got a commission I got to finish up that I took for Gunslinger Spawn. I actually took a Comic Con, but I thought I could just like do it at my Airbnb, but all the lamps in the house were orange tinted lamps, and you know, coloring it's a scribbly thing, so like coloring under an orange tinted light just affects all the colors. So I was like, this is not going to work. Why don't I just take this home and send it to you? So we're gonna get that out. And I'll stream that too. That'll be fun. I think tomorrow morning I might be streaming some remarks before I do the signing for warm up. So we'll get one or two of those in before I head over there. Hey, what's up, Allison? Pitching in a little Jane Silent Spawn. You can barely hear me. Hello. You can barely hear me. I don't know what to say. The same mic it's been on for days. Yeah, well, I don't know what to say. Nothing changed. Tell you, Allison, this is why I just stopped streaming entirely, because it's like I don't change anything. Everything sits right there working, and then all of a sudden things don't work, and I'm like, well, then I just won't do it, because I spent countless hours trying to troubleshoot. I'm like, at this point in my life, I just don't care anymore. I love hanging out with y'all, but I'm not gonna sit here trying to like do mic checks for a YouTube channel that won't promote me. I'm definitely not gonna re-up my restreaming, so I'm not giving them any more money. But whenever this goes away, I'll probably just stream to YouTube, and then maybe Twitch like separately here and there, but probably just YouTube, and that'll be that. But it's just like I'm not spending $300 on a board and levels and all this stuff. I got so little space in my studio to draw. I don't have any more room for stuff. It was like yesterday, the other day I was streaming, and like I had 90% CPU spikes for no reason. Like no reason. So it was like, all right, well then I just won't stream. Don't have to tell you folks. Like I can't, if it's unwatchable, I have a $5,000 PC. I have excellent internet. Nothing else is on. If it's just not going to work, then we're just not going to do it. And I just don't care anymore. I'll just sit here doing this by myself, I guess, for the rest of me life. But YouTube and stuff was a lot more worth it when it was like, all right, I haven't gained I haven't changed 16.6 thousand subscribers in 8 years. You know, so it's like once Adpocalypse hit, they just basically shadow ban my account, essentially. Whatever you want to call it. So it's like, why should I put one extra penny into this? They don't want they don't want me on their channel, then I'll go. That's cool. You know, I'm not streaming with my phone. Like that's the first thing. Like I refuse to do that. Like that, my phone gets insanely hot just using Waze. I'm not gonna have it sit there for an hour on Instagram. And the Instagram feed's the worst because like I can't I have to read the phone while I'm working. It makes no sense. And it's like, how am I supposed to read the phone, the chats, when the phone's pointed at the art? It doesn't make any sense. I tried logging into my own streams to see the chats and I can't. So I don't know. I don't get it. Yeah, like when I say I have like an hour to do this, like I really just that's all I got. So if I spend any part of that hour troubleshooting, now I'm not drawing, I'm troubleshooting. So nothing gets done. And I just gotta tell people, man, like when you gotta get stuff done, you gotta move things forward. You gotta move them forward. So if this was putting $1,000 a month in my bank account, then I would do it. But it puts no money in my bank account now. So what is the incentive? Coffee out the way. Need to rotate the page. The problem with double page folds, I taped the back so you can fold it. A little pro advice there. A little pro advice. Tape the back, fold it. I mean, why has ArtStation not made it? Why can't we just stream our live streams on ArtStation? You know, it's a goddamn art portfolio site. Why won't they just let artists stream their art? You know? Oh, I know why. Because it would actually be useful. We don't do anything useful anymore in tech. They're just like, but no. Here you go. You can do NFT tokens. No, I'd like to be able to stream my art. You can sell videos in the workplace, but by the way, it's just going to be filled with AI generated character packs, anime face character packs. Okay, but what if I could stream my art and get tips? Why don't we have that in there? Since everywhere else doesn't want artists, why doesn't ArtStation just focus on that for artists since it's for art? Oh, I know, it'd actually be useful. The balloons. Having a conversation with a buddy of mine today. I was running some errands this morning, you know, kind of. He was bringing up some of the reviews and, some of the people talking about how, like, oh man, Rob, drew a lot of stuff, I'm just like, I don't know. Sometimes I think when artists or people look at art, they kind of like compare it to, like, could they do that? And if they can't do it or they wouldn't do it, sometimes they just go, well, why would you do that? I mean, why would you do that? Do you care what I do? Quite frankly, we wouldn't be having this conversation if I didn't put all the effort into this. It'd be just another rando book that hit and came and went. So it's like I put the amount of effort that I think needs to go into each individual project. You know? And if that requires more effort from me, then it requires more effort from me. I don't know what to say, like I'm sorry if that, you know, bothers folks. But Rob, could you make it so could you draw like Mike Mignola? Can you make it real easy to read? No. Let Mike draw like Mike. I love Mike's work. Why would I draw like Mike? I can't tell you how many jobs I've had where they've been like, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. I'm like, maybe you're not doing enough. Like I did this. We didn't have it was 2006. We didn't have the Transformers license. We lost it. We were trying to get it. We couldn't get it before the movie came out. So we had this generics program. This is boys t-shirts. And generics is literally that. Like it's when you just make up random stuff, right? Usually humor based. And so I did this. We had these things called doublers. It's like long sleeves, right? That come out of a shirt, you know? And so um, I did this. I made up a transformer, a robot that turned into like a helicopter, like an Apache, because he wanted kind of a military thing, So I made, and then on the sleeve, I drew this robot transforming, and I gave it kind of like a Transformers Pat Lee-ish kind of vibe. And I just remember them going like, "That's a lot of work for a boy shirt, man." But it got bought. Walmart picked it up, and it sold for over a year. And it was like, yeah, but that's the amount of effort it took to get that spot. Now we got a Transformers style shirt in the store, and it's not even Transformers, and it sold well. We didn't have to pay a license, but like, yeah, it took more effort. I had to figure out how to do that. I had to come up with the idea, one, and then two, I had to figure out how to draw a transforming. I really had to draw like 5 different steps, because it needed to go down the sleeve. I think it was like 4 steps, but I think I figured out 5 and drew 4 is what it was. Had to step out, But it was like that's the amount of effort the project took. I'm not over here trying to create work for myself, but that's what it took to get that done. Like that. Why can't you just say thank you? Thank you, Rob. Really appreciate the hard work. But that's the story of my career. Constantly being told you're doing too much. Stop trying. You're gonna burn yourself out. You're gonna burn yourself out. I'm 45. Does it look like I'm burnt out? Like, no, man. Stop holding me back. Stop holding me back. Stop telling me to do less. Stop telling me what can't be done. Or how things used to work. I don't know. That's how they work for you. That's how they worked for you. There are rules to learn, but there's also a point. You do get to a point when there's a magic trick that goes on with art. And it's like it's your magic trick. And that magic trick, that act is your act and it has to work for you. And you can't do like, well, you can't have Carrot Top running out there telling Dave Chappelle or Eddie Murphy or anybody, any other comedian, how to do their act. It's like the act has to be your act. It has to work for you. And I just do what worked for me. But I won't lie, like, it's decades of being told, stop. It's like, I gotta draw these pages. Why? Because I can't print this art. Like, this looks really cool, like hand drawn, but it won't work in the book. I need everything layered and perfect. I need everything to be readable. Like, I have a lot of stuff, but it's readable. This stuff, it's readable big on the original art. When you shrink it down, the scribbles bunched together. It doesn't work. So then it would be like, well, become a better, more precise inker. No, that will kill my hand. Even now, I can feel some tension in it, which is why I only do this for like an hour. So I just don't bring tension to my hands because we got to keep them nice and safe and healthy. Protect your body. Well, then just do less. I'll just draw one. Here's the convention. Here'd be great. It's a convention, and it's just a couple like booths that are empty, and there's a couple people and some issues of comics, and we just say it's a Spawn Con. We could do that, but then who would care? When I go to a convention, here's how I think about it. I'm really big on location. So anytime I get a script, I look at the locations, right? And I think about the time of day and the temperature, like the weather, and I kind of build the scenes up as a story in my head first. So when I think of a convention, I'm thinking how I experienced a convention. I try to write down all the ways I experience going to a convention. It's seeing like all the toys and display booths. It's seeing all the new artists who got their booths up and all their books going on. The displays and the creativity and the variety is like, I try to take those memories of going to a con, not just drawing. You get a picture of a con, it's a wall of shit. It's just a wall. You ever see pictures of conventions? Just a wall of people. It does not reflect what it's like to be there, looking at the stuff firsthand. And you go in the booths and you're like checking out all the toys. So like I try to capture that moment and put it into the piece and to make everything clear as possible. If I could do a whole issue of just having a character walk around a convention. I could invent toys and have them look at and talk to. I could just do a whole thing of that if I wanted to. So like anything else, you try to put a lived experience into your work, an emotion into your work. I believe that art, when it's done right, has a transference. You start to place yourself there, and so if you're there, I think people can place themselves there. There'll be some form of shared experience is happening. And then it feels more authentic. Regardless of the art style. The art style is irrelevant. Just that's my 2 cents on it. And so like and that's the same if it's a house, if it's a mall, if it's a store, if it's the inside of a car, if it's, something like a castle. I don't know what a castle will be like, but I know it was like to go to Disneyland. I know it's like to go into an unknown place, and then I would think about the experiences of going to an unknown place. And all those little extra details are just the way my mind soaks in information whenever I go to unknown places. And that's how you create a unique thing. You got to get past the technical. The technical is literally the first step. The technical is the craftsman part. The emotion is the artist part. Let's draw chibi. How about that? Let's draw some chibi. Hey, what's up, Jonesy? Never undermine your own opinions or suppress your authentic self. Today's society is an narcissistic, competitive society where people are always trying to twist you. Hey, man, I'm talking about 20 years ago. I've been hearing. It's always been that way, man. Right? Always been that way. But I mean, like, I'd hear it in art departments. And look, when you have a paid job, it's a 9 to 5, man. You know, people got rent. I get it. You know, I just got to a point where it's like, you know, um, I just refuse to do it. You know, with things that just take so much effort. Comics take a lot of effort, you know, unless there was a lot of money involved. But even then, I don't know, man, because Blizzard paid well, and I was ready to quit at 4 months. Like I was literally hyping up my fucking, you know what? I resign, and then they let the studio go, like that Monday. So I was like, good, but I had everything drawn up. I'm like, I told my wife, I said, this is good money, but I don't know if it, it's making me not want to draw ever again, you know. And this was before all their shit came out. Now, I never had any problems that the Me Too folks had. I just had like creatively, I just didn't understand that studio. At least the Blizzard, the Overwatch team. I can't speak for the rest of the company. You know, it's a bunch of different companies. You know, but even now, like I get some reviews. I'm like, all right, you know, not everyone's gonna like it. That's fine. Well, guys are just like, well, it's just you know, I don't like it. You all complain all the comics look the same. None of them look like they're from the 90s, and then people complain that mine looks like it's from, you know, the late 90s, early 2000s. I'm like, well, I don't know what to say, man. You know, go buy Saga. I don't know what to say. You're buying the wrong book. First off, you're buying a Spawn book, you're gonna get some 90s. I feel inherently that's just in the DNA. You know, that's like complaining people made Shadow references in a Batman comic, in my opinion. Like the Shadow is Batman. Batman. I mean, like you don't get the Batman without the Shadow. Literally, Commissioner Gordon came from the Shadow. So many things came from the Shadow. The Joker actually came from the Shadow. So it's just like whatever. But fun part is when I just got fellow artist friends who are just like, I don't know, man. How do you? And don't. I'm not asking you to draw like me. No one's saying draw like me. Draw like you. You know. Please, please draw like you. Please stop looking around for the answer. The real problem is time compression. Artists do time compression. They start doing this thing where they go, okay, if I do this, this, and that, it's going to take this long, and oh man, it's not going to get done in time, or it's going to take too long. Well, okay, I'll just do it easier. I'll just focus on this and that, and then like everyone starts creating the same thing because everyone's trying to do this time compression thing. I'm like, the real answer is to pay artists more to make less. It's going to be honest. You know, speed is what gave us Midjourney and AI. The kind of speed I'm not talking about just taking forever. I'm just when people are trying to get like manga like level stuff, you know. I mean, some people can pull it off, but I can't. I'm no Daniel Warren Johnson. I'm not gonna be over here drawing 20 pages a day, dude, and everything looks brilliant. You know, that's not happening with me. But you know, it's a big industry. You know, you do the thing you're good at, and then you'll have your own little niche. You know, your own little space. But I say it goes beyond the drawing part, and it goes into just put how you think down on paper. Put how you feel down on paper. Don't put down on paper what you think people want to see because that is what, you know, everyone's telling you to do. Because they'll just all up and shuttle every comic book anyway, or video game or whatever else. I mean, I haven't had any major video game work since Toys for Bob and Blizzard other than Berserk Boy, and that's an indie game. No one's knocking on my door to do video games. Nobody. You know, and all my friends went off to do other video games, so I guess they didn't really value me either. You know, like it's how it works. When all your friends hire each other but you, there you go. Not just me. There was other people that didn't get hired, but when you could see, you know, who's in the club, who's not. And you're like, okay, that's fine. I'm not in your club. I'll have to make me own club. It's okay. You know, your laws, as far as I'm concerned. I've never made a project worse. I'll give myself that credit. I've never come on and been like, well, Rob fucked it up. You know. In fact, all too often in my career, things have gone to shit when I walked away from projects. And that's not me saying that. That's just play game. I mean, play fell on its own, but game fan fell apart the second I wasn't doing everything. You know, Mega Visions fell apart the second I wasn't doing all the layouts and all the graphic design and the covers and blah blah blah. You know, a couple t-shirt companies fell apart when I started walking away. I had very little to do with ODM, but I was helping pick it back up. They didn't get what I was doing. I did these Death Note shirts, and they were doing these big, like all over AOPs. And I'm like, well, you got plenty of that. You don't need more of that. So I was doing very simple stuff, like L on a shirt with his hair is like blue foil and stuff. And they just hated it. They were like, this is not what we do. I'm like, you hired me to do things you're not doing. You're already making what you're making. Just trust me. You know? And I left, and it turned out to be the highest selling shirt. You know, I got a email, hey man, this actually worked out really well. I'm like, then why did you fucking dick with me so much over it? You know? Hey, can you send me a bonus check for that? Well, no, you're not an employee anymore. I'm like, thanks for nothing. So my buddy was still working there. I was like, enjoy that holiday party. He's like, yeah, they still laid off people. Like, wonderful. They make more money and lay off. That's okay. But I always sleep well and I know when I did my part, you know. I put in my best efforts. I didn't half-ass it, you know. I don't want to draw over 3D models of figures. I want to figure the figures out and just get better at it, you know. Someday my figures, no big deal. I get a lot done. One day there's one page where I was trying to figure out how to draw OG spawn, and I spent like 2 days working on the pose. And you're like, Rob, that's irresponsible. I'm like, no, I still met my deadline of 2 pages a week, but I I I wasn't sold on the shapes. I wasn't sold on the shapes. Even now, I'm not completely sold on my OG spawn shapes, but you know, I'm getting there. You know, I'm getting there. I'm getting to what is in my head. It's not quite there yet. So, hopefully, if they let me do more, I will be able to continue to work on that. I don't know if this pen works. It does. I found this pen on the floor last night. It fell and the cap had come off, but I don't know how long it's been sitting there. Where's the shade? Shade, my man. One guy said they should have got Basil Wolfenfort or Wolfenfart or some shit. Wolverton. Basil Wolverton to draw the book. Well, I looked up the name Basil Wolverton. He died in December of 1978. 2 months after I was born. I'm like, we 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 don't have the ability to bring back artists from the dead, man. And if we did, we're bringing back Jack Kirby. Like, we're sorry, Mr. Wolverton. I looked up his art, man. He drew like these dudes with big noses and stuff. And I'm like, all right, but he kind of has a Germanic last name. He's probably not German, but whatever. He's European. Born 1916. I don't know. They might be anti-Semitic drawings for all I know. When I see a guy from 1920, 1930 drawing dudes with really big, grotesque noses, I gotta think maybe that's an anti-Semitic caricature that, you know, I don't know. People gave him a pass on. But regardless, he died, my man, 40-something years ago. So I think the same guy said Harvey Kurtzman should have drawn this book. I'm like, he died in 1993. It's the best. It's the best negative review I've ever gotten. We wish dead people drew this book over you. I love it. Oh man. Can we bring back Charles Schultz? I'd love to see Charles Schultz draw this book. Can I get 1955's Charles Schultz? Because let's be honest, the rendering and the early Peanut stuff was way better. Even as a kid in the 80s, I'd go to the library and look up the original Peanut stuff. I thought that stuff was great. It was the stuff from the 70s on forward I wasn't as into. Joni says, you mentioned earlier that the artist should transfer his feelings to the art. You take any tricks or inspiration from other comics or styles from other artists that you've seen in your work? I mean, yeah, like, am I actively keeping like an artist stuff open these days? No, but these days, if I want to be inspired, like I'm not feeling it, sure. But I always look at things now like, well, how would I do it? I think the most inspirational stuff I kind of put on these days are like animated movies. But Bill Watterson, dude, you want to talk about Bill Watterson? I got every Calvin and Hobbes sitting right there, Carlos Maglia, he passed away. Can we bring him back from the dead? I can put on, Tarzan for, 96's. I love Atlantis. That Atlantis Emperor's New Groove are my 1-2 jam, dude. Like, seriously. Like, I could just leave those two on The Goofy movie is my jam, you know. As well as, you know, Miyazaki, obviously, like Porco Rosso and Kiki's and Mononoke, and I love Ponyo. I'm a Ponyo guy. Stand by it. Love that. Love Ponyo. I can look at the backgrounds on Ponyo all day, the way they did them, like pastel. There's a artist, a fine artist, Marla Bagetta. She does pastel work, like abstract pastels. Baggetta, Bagetta Marla. She's brilliant. She's a brilliant artist. Nathan Fowkes, brilliant painter. The DreamWorks guys, you know. Dominique, I think his name is Dominique something. He did the pastel color keys for Ratatouille and some Monsters Inc. and stuff like that back at the early Pixar days. He's in, I love all of his stuff. So I could tell you I'm not looking at Basil Wolverfart, you know, like I'm not looking at Mad Magazine. Although I do think the 70s and the early 80s Mad Magazine stuff is probably the best for the caricature, you know. But I mean, and obviously Todd, dude. I mean, Todd was a big influence on me, you know, no doubt. I think you see my art, and I think you're gonna see like 50 different things in there. You know, Ren and Stimpy, Invader Zim, McFarlane, Calvin and Hobbes. You're gonna see Carlos Maglia. You're gonna see, you know, it just depends on what it is. Like, if I do more superhero-y stuff, you're gonna see different things. If I do more slice of life, you might see more Iron Giant. You know, that was the art style of Iron Giant was a huge. I just sat there redrawing, almost redrew the whole movie, like, you know, a scene per, like one shot per scene, because I did like 200 different drawings on when I was in the army, just redrawing. I'd freeze the DVD because we had DVDs, right? And yeah, taught myself three-dimensional, really had to three-dimensionally construct my characters through the Iron Giant. Those are probably the best three-dimensionally designed 2D characters. I think that art style on Iron Giant is highly underrated. And I think it was because since they were putting next to the Giant who was 3D, they tried to give everything a 3D look. And if you look at the Iron Giant and then you look at Incredibles, you see how Pixar figured out humans. When Brad Bird went on the Incredibles, that was when they figured out humans. And the Pixar style humans basically come from Iron Giant. On this particular book, I mean, I ran into a challenge of like, do I do the crowds and the humans super cartoony, or do they do them more in like a graffiti kind of style, you know? And I still don't have a good answer for that. I think I've just put one of everything in the book, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't, you know? Most of the human crowds are on issue 1, so it's like I didn't really get a lot of time to. There's some stuff in issue 2, but most of the actual regular human stuff is in issue 1, so I didn't really get much time to explore that, you know. But if I were doing, let's say I took on a project detailing the life of Mark Twain, you know. I have a lot of varied interests, Jonesy, so like I could see myself doing something on the life of Mark Twain or Lincoln or something. That might look more like, you know, that would look more Iron Giant-y than graffiti, or even maybe Prince of Egypt, you know. If you want to talk about what is like a modern influence, like what am I influenced by? I mean, Studio Trigger is a huge, you know, I'm always love everything they do. Anytime Double Fine puts out something, you know, I'm there day one for that. In comics, I can't say I'm sitting around like staring, you know, I buy art, but I don't can't say it's like influencing me like I'm trying to draw like him, but I think Jorge Corona's amazing. Bengal has always been amazing. Yeah. So I think you do still have to be a fan. I think sometimes artists do get to a certain age where they're stop being a fan of things, you know, and I think that's a bad idea. Hey, what's up, Tatar? How you been? Oh man, you want to see an artist that keeps getting better every single day? Go follow Tatar. Right? When they start making 2D animated films back at Disney, Tatar, what you got? We got to get you there, right? We got to get you there. He does really. If you like Beauty and the Beast and you know that kind of fun Glen Keane Disney stuff, go check out Tatara stuff. So awesome. You don't mind me saying. But regardless of how you draw, you still have to like, in order for it to look like you and not you copying someone, you have to put your own emotional vibe into it, Jonesy. Every time. That's the difference. And I know because I've done jobs where I'm just drawing t-shirts. I had to draw like people all the time. You know, sometimes it's just that they want a style, or you have to like, you know, draw parts of Wolverine that Jim Lee didn't draw back into the piece. So you're constantly mimicking styles. And yeah, so it's like it doesn't really matter the style, but it still has to be you. That's the hard part. If they can see how you're thinking, that's really the bit. It's not, well, Rob draws noses this way. Well, that's how I drew nose for that project, but I would probably draw noses differently for this project. You know, it kind of prevents me from being super fast because if I just had a shorthand for everything, I could probably just shorthand my way and get a lot more done. But that's not how I think. You know. Hey, Tatara, are you? Do you got a book coming out with like the stuff you do with you and your husband? Like, or you just do the figure stuff? Like, is that an actual series you're working on or something? Because if it is, let me know. I'll pick it up. You know what I mean? Where are we at? How long have we been doing this? Almost an hour, folks. What else can I get done really quickly? Tomorrow I'm gonna get the dragon put in, so it's not. Maybe. Oh, how about this? These comics. This will be fun. Oh, you know I forgot this can actually. And I'll tell you what a big influence on me is that I guarantee you probably nobody in comics is gonna say is video game magazines. Huge influence on me. At some point, I'm gonna do something with that comic book wise. You'll see. I'm not gonna say what it is yet, but it's coming. I hid TMNT ooze vials back here, by the way. I guess it'd be Spawn SMNT. Spawn Teenage Mutant Ninja Spawns. No. Actually, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Violators, so that wouldn't count. I have to come up with something else. Yeah, but they're okay. It's their Violator canisters, but whatever. Oh, you know what else I love? Triplets of Belleville and the Illusionist, the animated. That studio's brilliant. There's a character I was rewatching Belleville the other day because I haven't watched this in a while, and there's a character in there I inadvertently swiped in issue 2. I was like, oh shit, I drew that. I didn't even mean to. I was like, guess that's in my head. Guess it's in my head. I'll have to own that one when it comes up. They're gonna be like, you just drew the thing from Belleville. I'm like, yeah, I didn't mean to, but it did happen. That's the fun part when you see stuff come out and you're like, I didn't know that was in my head. Harris says, so yeah, it's been a while. You're doing your things, having fun, been working with your pilot comic a few months. Oh, nice. Characters coming along nicely. But in some panels, you still have a lot to work on with the backgrounds. That is the thing, right? That is the thing. You finally figure out figure work, and then it's like, I got a little fortunate that backgrounds were the easiest thing for me. It took me a long time to figure out characters. I didn't start producing figure work that I liked until 2005. Gonna be honest with you. And I went full time trying to figure out how to do it by night. It took me 10 years, 95 in high school. I got really started. It just took me a long time to get figure works. But now drawing backgrounds digitally took me a bit to figure out, as I'm really used to doing everything on paper. Like on paper, it's all there. It's tactile. I got a grid. I got the pens. I can move things around. But digitally, I was like, I don't know how to feel any of this stuff. Like it almost feels infinite, and like I didn't know how to get a bearing on it. But I have a good process for that now. And I'm gonna have to like definitely do like maybe a 30-minute TIFF video or something, like an art TIFF video or two on how I go through that process. But there's specifically a background shot in issue 3 of Spawn Kills Every Spawn that I've saved all the steps so everyone can see, here's how it was done. That will be fun to share when we get there. Alrighty, it's been 1 hour, folks. That's all we got time for today. Let's open it up. Bada bang. So tomorrow, I'm going to just focus on the dragon and get all that done. And then we'll move back this way and get all this stuff done. The last thing I'll do is this Spawn Max back here. And this will be done. Then what I'm going to do after this is that I have to ink the cover to issue 4. I need to get that done. And I need to get issue 5 done as well. But they haven't solicited it yet, but I may have to do that one offline. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. So there we go, folks. Thanks, Kyle. All right, everybody. I'm going to get to work. If I do an NDA podcast, it'll probably be tonight for a couple hours around 9 p.m. MDT. So I'll see you